It's raining again. Today is Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. It's 8:44 p.m. It's 82 degrees and it is raining. My favorite part of the day, as everyone mostly knows, between 8 and 9 o'clock is just my favorite part of the day. It's not nighttime yet. I guess why I like it is because why I like it. Hold on. Let me chit chat with everybody, let everybody see me. The reason I like this time of day because it feels like it's either really early and I'm never up that early. Like between 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning, I love it if I'm ever up. Unfortunately, I'm usually getting to bed late, so waking up at that time is almost impossible. But between 8 and 9 at night in the summer, I also love it. The roads are busy, but not that busy. It almost feels like the morning, like especially where I am over here. Growing up in the Bronx was a different animal. Busy all day, all night, even myself. I'm 51, but up until I got engaged, I'm gonna be married next March, 20 years, and we were engaged for a year and a half. So probably say about 22 years ago was the last time, 23 years ago, I actually hung out. I didn't hang out once I got engaged. I moved in with my wife, put all that other crazy stuff behind me. Not crazy, but hanging out all night. I guess one of the benefits of having everything a little bit later in life is you know have the opportunity to do everything. So then when it's time to settle down, you don't mind. Like I had a good friend, Big Herm. He had a family early, and he's a few years younger than me in the first place. But he had 4 kids really early. So when we were still hanging, I remember like the last night. I remember the night right before his first kid was born. He hung out, and that was it. And you know, he was a good father, good man. He busted his butt working 2 jobs even. He was always a bouncer. Actually, he was one of the first bouncers at Mickey Spillane's because I lived for 5 years. I lived right around the corner from Mickey Spillane's. It was one of my favorite buildings on Glen Road. I loved it there. So when they opened up, not only was he one of the first bouncers there, one of my close ex-friends was one of the first DJs there. So then, of course, I DJ'd there a little bit myself. And it's crazy. That has to be, I'm in this house 13 years. Has to be about 20 years ago. 20, longer than that. Because, yeah, whenever Mickey Spillane's opened up, yeah, probably 20, 13, 14, 15, 8, 9, 20, 20, 21 years ago, somewhere around there. I know the one in Mount Vernon closed. Something to do with the landlord. I just don't get it. When you and they invested so much money in these places, like how do you invest? Who's that? Oh, I'll take it. Leave it there so you don't come in my video. Forget it. Too late. Even in front of the house, I don't get no peace and quiet. I feel bad sometimes because people just come out to chit chat with me. But anyway, I'll go inside in a minute. My wife is just bringing out garbage because we have more garbage than anybody known to man. But anyway, Mickey Spillane's, the one in Mount Vernon was called something else. They did so much work, and then they find out they have a problem with like the landlord with leases. I don't get it. Like that happened over here too. There was a really good restaurant my wife and I used to go to 3 times a week. We would, before my son was born, we would go to Manhattan at least once a week, sometimes twice. Not deep into the city. We were more on the Columbus Avenue side. It's easier to get to. It's not crazy. It's not crowded. So we would always go on up Columbus Avenue near the museums, etc. At least once a week, sometimes twice. Like we would go to Pomfrets. I know they changed. They had a fire or something else happened, but it's a place that just sells French fries and they're open till like 4 in the morning. So we would go there a few times a month. We would go to Morton's at least once a week because that's my favorite spot. Morton's. I've eaten, I've eaten all over the place, from cheapest places to dinners that ran $1,000 for just my wife and I. And the only place that stayed consistent, no matter what we order from there, and my wife will contest to the same thing, is Morton's. The steaks are great, the sides are great, the chickens are great, the crab, everything that they sell, we love. We never ordered one thing that we were like, we don't love it. My favorite place, that's where my wife had my surprise 40th birthday. We were going there at least once a week. But we would also go to a place called American Bistro because it was closer to home. And they were on Columbus Avenue. There was a few of them. First they were in another location, then they moved to Columbus Avenue. It was kind of like an old joint, like an old person's joint, because when my wife and I would eat there, we were always the youngest couple there. But we loved the food there. It was different than Morton's. You wouldn't get a steak there, but the stuff they had there was also phenomenal. They redid the inside, and we were going there for a few years. They redid the inside, and then one day we go back and they're closed. And they said, oh, something with the rent. So I spoke to the owner because I knew the husband and the wife. I said, but I don't understand. You didn't have a long enough lease? Like, you did all this work inside without thinking, I thought he had another 10 years left or something. Anyway, they threw them out, and what do you think opened up there? Another Mexican restaurant. Like, we need another one. Their mistake was they opened up another place, not called American Bistro. They opened up a place in Tarrytown, which is a little further for me, but I would have went at least a few times. But the problem is they never advertised it on their old social media. It actually said on like their old Instagram or Facebook, whatever, one of them, like, keep an eye for like our next adventure. They never put their next adventure there. I don't know if they lost the passwords or not. And by the time we found where they were in Tarrytown, not long after, they ended up closing from there. But the business decision of not cross-advertising was probably fatal. Like, to not, how else would you keep in touch? They had customers that were going there for probably a few decades. It was foolish to lose all of us and not know. Sometimes businesses, they go out of business and you could see why. Like, yep, that's the reason why. Food was great, but you redid the place without realizing your rent was going to increase. And then you don't even keep in touch with everybody. Like, I'm sure we weren't the only people there. We were there at least minimum once a week. And I say minimum because sometimes they're twice a week or 3 times a week. We even took food home. But yeah, anyway, it's raining. I wanted to come out here with a few RCs, but that ain't gonna work. Every night I say I'm gonna log back on to hang out with you guys and maybe play some Switch 2 games or something. Don't happen. By the time my son likes me to lay with him. By the time he falls asleep, I'm too tired, I stay asleep. Once in a blue moon, I'll get up for like something to drink, and then I'll get up and stay up for a little bit, but I'm in no mood to do anything then. I also got 2 new RCs today. They're right here. Probably can't see it. But they're 2 CR18P. One, they're both new. I know you're not going to be able to see it at all. But these just were released about a week and a half ago. And I just got them today. And I actually just ordered the new Red Cat. Red Cat came out with a new 18 scale, the Scout, but it's a brushless version. And I already have the brush version and I love it. So I knew I was gonna love the brushless version. So I put the order in for like the dark gray color one. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't come out with a brushless version of the other one that they had. It was the no-name truck. But I have both of them and like both of them. Because now they have the brushless, I'm not going to keep the brush version. So what does that mean? That means somebody on the other side of that screen is going to win it, because I don't like keeping doubles and duplicates. I mean, if it's like my favorite RC, maybe I would. But now that I'm going to have the brushless version of the Scout, I'll give away the brush version of the Scout. I look at it this way: anyone I could get into the hobby and I could help, I love it. A matter of fact, I gave 2 RCs away to a brother and sister just last week because they saw me filming and they were asking all these questions. And then I saw the father the next day, and the father said, you know, my son really wants to get an RC card, but he didn't know much about it. So he was asking me about it. And then he was saying, you know, maybe he'll get one when he gets a little money saved up for him. And I said, you know what? Let me give him one. I gave the guy swore, he's like, no, I want to pay for it. And then so supposedly the kid's like, I'll give you 25 for it. And I said, I didn't want anything. But the father said he wants his son to pay to learn, like, you know, whatever. So I said, okay, whenever you come around, but I'm not looking for it. Anyway, long story short, then he went out with the sister, and she supposedly looked like she wanted it. So I gave one for the sister too. Again, I'm not looking for $20 or $25 per RC, because for me, I wanted to give it to them. But if it's something that the parents insist on, I'm not going to argue over it. But I like helping people. That's the one benefit when I grew up in the Bronx. Always somebody I could help. I know that sounds messed up, but we had Rob, who was like the neighborhood homeless person. He was our neighborhood homeless person probably for 25 years. I heard he was up and around not too long ago, maybe 5 years ago, but he was there since the 80s. You could tell there was something. It's just so sad because you could tell something was wrong. So imagine being homeless and having like something wrong. Like, it wasn't like he was homeless because, you know, he was a crackhead or nothing like that. And that's what's scary, because we should have places for people, like, I don't even know where he slept, to be honest. And again, we're talking, he was there for 20 years. I saw him when I was living there. And like I said, somebody said they saw him like 5 years ago. Anybody on 241st White Plains Road, if they were there from back in the day, everyone knows Rob. Everyone knows Rob. And it's funny, that's one of the videos I'm going to do. Just like the person, again, I shout out all the original people that I follow. Action Kid does videos where he goes from neighborhood to neighborhood. He used to do walking on a scooter. Now he got so big, he's in Asia, I think, for the last 3 months, doing it over there. I want to do like these locations over here now. I want to do different, not ones he did, but at first you would think, who cares about it? But when he was walking by spots that I remember growing up, I really enjoyed the videos. So maybe I'll do the same with people who lived, in these parts of towns. You'd be surprised how many people, even on his videos, I'll see leave comments like when he's walking like through the Bronx or Queens or Manhattan. They'll say, I lived there for 30 years and now I live in Utah. And, I love seeing it again. So, and I love seeing it too. He literally walked by my block in one of the videos. I used to be right on the border of Mount Vernon in the Bronx, and he literally he passed my block. So that's one of the video types I want to create. I have a lot of things in my mind, a lot of different shows I want to do. And I do it because, it's my entertainment too. It's creating a family per se, and some people think it's stupid. Some people, like, I'll leave comments A lot of times I'll leave comments on other people's videos and I make these long comments because whatever comes to my mind, I put. And you know, sometimes you get people who think it's stupid because in their eyes, a comment should be 3 words and that's it. But a lot of times I'm reminiscing over things and I put what's on my mind. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make these videos. I'm not making these videos to become the next Mr. Beast, by no means necessary. But I do like the fact that he helps out a lot. And that's, you know, 25% or maybe 50% of, you know, what I also would like to do in the future. I think it's great. Not just helping people with toys, neither. You know, I follow, I can't think of his name. There's somebody else I follow, Jimmy Dart, I think, who helps people who, like, he'll find somebody in the market who can't pay their food, and then he interviews them, he talks to them, and if they're like really in need, he makes a GoFundMe or something, and 24 hours later, they have like 50 grand for the person. Sometimes even more. It's a miracle what he does. I mean, that's what social media should be for, right? You know, I'm using it to entertain you, for you to hopefully, you know, for me, it also gives me something to do. Somebody was asking me earlier, because I made a video earlier about why I follow so many people. And I follow so many people because if I could help you, if you're trying to make videos, I don't care if it's for gardening, if it's for construction, if it's for DJing, if it's one of my hobbies, BMX freestyle, BMX racing, whatever. If I see you making something and you're trying, it takes me a half a second to press subscribe and another half second to put like. And then if I'm watching a video, I usually leave a comment, even if it's completely out of left field. Like I said, if it has nothing to do with any of my hobbies, I still leave a comment, but I still help the person by liking and subscribing. If I could help that one person, like back in the days, to help somebody who needed to spend money, you don't need to spend money no more. To help somebody, all somebody has to do is like and subscribe. And you could literally change somebody's life. And that's why I do it. And I appreciate everybody who likes and subscribes my videos. I know I'm not making fancy videos at the moment. I do have editors on tap because for my other business, I actually have real editors. But I've been this is almost like the beta version. Like I'm just basically beta, you know, doing things at the moment until I get comfortable. Again, it's not like I need this to become, you know, superstar status overnight. I mean, I do appreciate, though, every like and subscribe, like I said. And I do the same. You'd be surprised how many people, as long as they're trying to do it like, you know, where they're putting out any kind of content, I always subscribe, always like, and 95% of the times I leave a comment. Just how I am. If I could help somebody out that way, you know, maybe karma, maybe people, you know, will help me out one day. And like I said, I try to give back. I already have one person, they should be receiving, I don't remember what the tracking said, but I shipped it yesterday. He won one thing and I actually shipped him 2 things because he was the first person. So I actually sent him 2 things. So I still got this cut over here. I went for some allergy, what do you call it? And they gave me some cuts here that won't go away. Now I know I'm allergic to like 4 or 5 things. I'm allergic to tree pollen. I'm allergic to like a bunch of things. And now I have to go back to talk to the doctor. I was supposed to see him right after the second appointment, but he was running so late that I told him I can't stay. And I just never made the second appointment. But I'm already on allergy medicine, so I don't think he would give me more. But maybe he'll give me, who knows. But anyway, that's my theory of why I like and subscribe so much. I would really have to not like somebody in order for me not to like and subscribe. Tomorrow, I'm trying to think when I could do my eBay live. I want to do an eBay live with you guys. I explained it in an earlier video. But basically what I want to do is kind of like an HSN QVC type of show where I show you stuff and it goes on eBay. The catch is if you're a subscriber to my channel, you get a 10% on top of the lowest price. Not just for one item. If you're a subscriber, you get 10% off my eBay, period. You buy 10 things, you get 10% off every item. And forever, as long as you stay a subscriber. One of the many ways I'm kind of paying you guys back. And you may say, oh, it's 10%, what's 10%? But I'm selling everything from my Apple Vision Pros, which are basically new. I also have the Apple case for them, to my MetaQuest 2 system, which is basically new. Matter of fact, the accessories for the MetaQuest 2 are all brand new, like the extended battery. Burberry and Gucci wallets I no longer use. Gucci sneakers and boots, all size 13 because they're mine. I was even going to sell, I was lucky to grab the Tiffany Nikes with the real silver back. I also bought the silver pieces that fit in the front. I also bought the silver shoehorn. I wouldn't sell the silver shoehorn. That I'm going to keep. But the sneakers, I don't even know why I bought them. I'm not a big Air Force One person. I don't love them. And these, the first few times I wore them, I stepped in tar at my son's school. So what did I do to try to get the tar off underneath? I used like all these chemicals and it actually dripped to the other side and like stained the black. So what did I do? Tried to get black polish and do it again. Of course, it didn't come out correctly. It doesn't look terrible, but again, I don't like them anyway, so I'm gonna put them on eBay too. Again, they're gonna have the front silver pieces, which were extra, and they come with real silver back pieces. I'm just not gonna sell the shoehorn. And what's good about eBay is everything gets authenticated first, so you know it's legit. They bought an agency who just does that. So I have my Louis Vuitton Supreme red leather jacket that's going up there because I don't wear it. I have a lot of things. It definitely would pay, to watch. I have records, new, used. 6 years ago, before COVID, I was in the middle of opening up a scratch/DJ shop, kind of like the way they have in California. It was 2,500 square feet. It was going to have an octagon with turntables. I was going to sell all the accessories, the turntables, the scratch, whatever, scratch records. COVID came, messed up the location. I was in the middle of doing things. Long story short, I'll make a video about that one day. But I still have a lot of the things that were going to go into the store. I even still kept buying the scratch records up until about a year ago. That means I have thousands of scratch records that were going to go into the store that are just sitting now waiting for me to either do an online store or if I end up doing a store again one day. I just don't know. Now I don't know. I had a perfect location. It was, I think now I have to buy the building because I never want something like that to happen again. I didn't lose that much money. I just lost time. And I did lose some money. So I think I want to buy a building and maybe do that again. But if not, I'm going to put I'm going to put everything on eBay. All the scratch records from 5 years ago all the way to a year ago. Records, because I was also going to sell regular records in there. You'd be surprised. Like I have more luxury, not luxury, more premium type things. Like I have like the Rad soundtrack. You don't see that everywhere, right? You don't often go into a place and say, oh, that's the Rad soundtrack on vinyl. I have it. Now to make it even more special, I was going to create like my own limited edition packages. So it would have came with like Rad stickers and a Rad keychain. So not only did you get the 12-inch vinyl, you would have got some stickers and a keychain with it, and it would have been like an exclusive package that you could only get through my shop. Yes, the keychain and the stickers wouldn't have been official. It would have been, I called it unofficial official. But it would have been really dope for, for you guys. Um, I was doing that with a lot of items. And again, COVID came, screwed things up. And so when I do the eBay Live, I'm going to have video games. And I may have special deals too. Like if you're watching the show live, you may get like 10% and free shipping or something like that. Only during the duration of the show, just to kind of like give back to people watching, or, maybe even something different. Maybe, if you're watching the show, you get something free or whatever the case is, even a bigger discount. I don't know. I guess it also depends on the item. So it'll be worth it, to watch the show. What I would do is before the show is going to go live, I would make like a few posts and a few videos saying, Saturday, July, whatever, at 2 o'clock, whatever it is. So you would have plenty of time to know it's coming. I would give everybody at least 2 or 3 days notice. And again, I don't know if it's going to be this Saturday. This Saturday, I have a lot of things going on. I also don't know if that's the best day of the week I should do it. So we'll see. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to go inside. Maybe I'll make a quick video with the 2 new RCs. I don't know if you saw the video I made earlier. I actually got the Tony Hawk limited edition PlayStation 5 package. I thought the skateboard was going to have wheels and a truck. I didn't know it wasn't. I should have known better. It was too cheap. But I actually wanted to use the skateboard. So now I have to figure out what size truck it fits. I was going to buy the Supreme ones. I just didn't realize there were so many different sizes. So now I have to figure out what size this truck is and get the truck and the wheels. But anyway, I may play that tonight. I also have, I think, 8 Switch 2 games I didn't play yet. The only game I played so far was the one that came with the system. So I only played with 8-bit Eric once for like an hour, not even a half hour. So if anybody's around and you want to see some games tonight, let me know. I don't even know if you could play with other people with the Tony Hawk. I don't think I even played this Tony Hawk. I know it's not a new game. It's Tony Hawk 3 and 4. I don't even know how old these games are. But I like collector editions, so I bought it. I also love anything to do with BMX, freestyle. Skateboarding was probably my least favorite out of the 3. BMX freestyle was my favorite. Then BMX racing was second. Skateboarding was way down the line. But it's still one of those sports that, it had something to do with freestyle BMX. It wasn't my favorite, but especially with video games, like if they came out with a new Matt Huffman video game, I would buy it all day, even if it was a remake. So yeah, it's 9:13. Maybe I'll get a chance to play it tonight. Maybe I'll even play it while everybody's up. I always wait until everyone goes to sleep, and that's the problem. By the time everyone goes to sleep, and then I'm too tired. So maybe I'll play it tonight with you guys. If not, maybe I'll go through these RCs. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I said, I was playing with this today. I just got this yesterday, and I like it. Still like the Grown better. I don't like the gyro with this. I don't like the clips with this. And the turning, what is it? What do you call it? What is it? The turning right radius is terrible. Like it could barely make the full turn in my driveway. And I did, I adjusted it to go to turn as much as you can, and it's still nothing. But out of all the 4 I played with today, that's either tied with first place or second place. And that's why I like buying new RCs, because you never know when you're going to like one more than the old 2. And that means I'm going to probably get rid of the one that came in last place. And that means one of you guys will probably win that one. It's the Violent RC by Highbox. And they still sell it on Amazon. I think it's 169 bucks. It was just out of all 4 of them today that came in last place. And that's how I'm going to start thinning the herd. I'm not going to keep, 180 RCs. That's the reason I didn't order the Traxxas. If anybody, they have some really good deals right now, $50 off. And if you get certain cards, you get the free battery and charger with it. So it's like a double promotion. I'm so tempted on buying that Supra. It's just, I have the Raptor R Ultimate coming. And I know like everybody's coming out with such good RCs that I hate to buy one that's already a few years old, because I know I'm going to want the newer ones and I'm going to need the space. And those are the cars that I like. Like those are, even though you can't bash them, I just love those, road cars. And it's a clipless one, no less. I know I'm going to love it, but I also know they're going to come out with another one. Like Traxxas has been coming out with some crazy cars. Valario's been coming out. I mean, everybody's coming out with some killer cars, killer trucks that I have to be careful. I mean, I don't have infinite space. I buy these again, they're not given to me. So, yeah. All right, everybody. I'm going to go inside. It's raining again. Every night it rains, I swear. I should shut off my sprinkler system. I should see how long it's going to rain. And hopefully I play some games tonight, and I hope you guys come check out the games. Hang out with me later. And like I said, I appreciate everybody who likes and subscribes. You don't realize it. I appreciate it more than you know. It's literally helping. It's to me, it's and again, that's why I try to help whenever I can. You never know, everybody at the bottom, right now I'm at the bottom floor. It's still basically beta testing the whole thing for me. But I appreciate everybody who's on the ground floor, and that's why I try to give back as much as I can. All right, I hope I see everyone later. Ciao, everyone.